right? So now, so the question we're going to ask ourselves is that why majority of the PMP not able to move up in their career ladder despite a lot of hard work? Okay? So to answer that question, I need my friend who is a professional career trainer, career plan trainer, and also a psychologist herself to come and help us to explain what is stopping us in our mind from moving upwards. Can you help me to put together your hand to welcome Miss Valerie, please?
Thank you, everyone. Some of you remember me. Some of you I have not met. Well, thank you for having me this afternoon. I'm only here for 10 minutes, very short time. Just to answer some of the question about what is it that happens in the mind. As SK has said, my work is psychology, so I deal with mind, and with people and how they think and how they behave. And so often how we think affects our future, our behaviors, and the impacts that we make in our life. I've just put together 2 cartoons to make you think a little bit about your life. How many of you work very hard? Only those many? The rest of you are having a good time?
That was what they told their management to, in order to get the permission to be here.
How many of you feel you work like a dog? Okay, I won't ask you to put your hand up. Now, many of us work a certain number of hours in a day. I'm sure on your written contract it says you work 8-hour day, right? How many of you work 8-hour day? Only 8-hour day? Very good. How many of you work more than 8-hour day? Therefore you work like a dog. Okay? You're not following the contract. And so then the question is, how come on the piece of paper you read, your eye sees, your brain thinks, and you see 8 hours, but then somehow the actions of the body doesn't work in that way? And it seems that the engine moves on longer than the 8 hours. And so then my first cartoon, which shows us like that little dog who is very excited on the weekend, and on Monday comes in growling, don't talk to me, I have a bad day. And then praying very hard, God get me through this day. And then the dark clouds are there, please let me die, I can't stand it anymore. And then on Thursday we're going, and slowly it seems like I'm getting some life back because Friday is coming. And on Friday I can whistle a bit and sing a tune because then on Saturday I can enjoy. Now how many of you are really enjoying on Saturday? Or are you still working? So, again it says, do you actually even get those weekends? And when a person's life is going around in this kind of cycle, where is the space to dream and to plan and to think far and to think where I want to be and what I want to do? Is there room to think? So we are living in a day and age now where we work and work and work, we push, and then we come home and we're exhausted. And all you want to do is hit the sack, go to bed, or don't talk to me, I just want to stare at the idiot box, the TV, and let something go on there. And we begin to be irritable and not be very nice to the people around us sometimes. I don't want to talk anymore because I'm too tired. So when we're too tired to do anything other than just recover for the next day, where is this idea of my future going to come from? And very often, this is one of the things that SK showed just now, that we have dreamed to go high, but the reality is people only reach this far. And one of the reasons why we end up like that is because we're stuck in this daily life cycle with so much to do and not knowing where we want to go. So we forget, or we dream sometimes, and then we begin to be tired and then we don't move anymore. And so what happens when we sit too long? How relevant do we become in that role? And you all in IT industry, it moves with the blink of an eye, and it moves so fast. So that's my next cartoon. which says if you sit there long enough, even though it's in the right track, you might just get run over. So how long do you sit in the place that you sit? What is it that makes you fast enough to be able to know how to get up? To be able to do that, you need to stick to your 8 hours a day and have your weekends to think, your evenings to think, and start to plan. What is it that makes us not move or carry on working in this way? Number one problem we face in the world today, we are all afraid. We're afraid of who? We're afraid of the boss. We're afraid we'll lose our job. We're afraid we won't be able to put food on the table for our family. And so the thing that drives us and motivates us to move on is not excitement, is not the possibilities of the wonders that we can get in the world, but it's fear. And fear is no fun. And if we're driven by fear, we're going to be rolled over like that. So the challenge is, if we want to make something happen to our lives, our career, and change that mindset that we have, then the answer is, do we know what is in our mind? Do we know what is driving ourselves in our mind? What are those beliefs that push us to continue living the life that we live? And what are the changes then that we need to make so that we are able to achieve our plans and push even more the way SK is pushing those numbers, you know? Every year he's increasing the number and it's working, isn't it? He didn't only hit 200, he got 206. He got 6 more than he planned. Huh? So all this happens when you can dream. And we can dream when we have time to dream. And when we give ourselves the space to dream and then make it possible. So change is key, is number one factor of a good leader, of a good manager. If we can manage the changes around us, we will get somewhere. But if we're afraid of the change, then this can only happen. So on that note, I hope you will continue on with the programs that they've planned to power up that career.